Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah.
We got it! We got it!
New 52 book.
Somebody clip this.
Welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm Jared. I'm here with Teladia Plays. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting Under Two Capes episode.
So, as you guys know, 2 weeks ago, we did an episode talking about Absolute Superman and the potential of that book. And we figured, we're big SuperWonder fans. We only talked about half of that pairing. Let's talk about Absolute Wonder Woman, which this has got to be one of the origin stories that they created for the Absolute characters. This is one I did not see coming. And that's good. That's good.
I wasn't expecting. Here's the thing: I was not expecting the Absolute Wonder Woman to look like the new 52 Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
and furthermore, to add further, is the fact that she has a sword that almost looks like Cloud's sword from Final Fantasy VII Remake, and furthermore, she's from the underworld, not from the paradise. And I'm just like thinking that's totally cool.
It's so badass. Yeah, so essentially, here's the design we're talking about right now for Absolute Wonder Woman. I might as well just share my screen right now. So the ways it's going to be structured, we'll talk a little bit about Absolute Wonder Woman, then we'll talk about essentially like a lot of the versions that are probably informing this. So here's the design. And first off, the new 52 part of this would be the breastplate and maybe the pants and the it's essentially the torso armor that's very new for 52.
52-ish, yeah.
Now, what's interesting is that Wonder Woman has tattoos in this universe, and so the reasoning behind that is, and this is kind of a controversial take this is kind of a controversial addition among the Wonder Woman fandom. I found is that she's a witch essentially. So the Amazons are not around. Either they got wiped out. My theory is they got wiped out. And she was raised in the underworld. So that's kind of cool. I'm very interested in that. And let's see if Kelly Thompson has a picture of her giant sword. No. But the point is, I'll share that later, and that may even be the thumbnail for this episode. But she's also riding a bone Pegasus. And I'm like, the thing about the Absolute universe, what it's looking at, this is already fulfilling my number one recommendation or concern when they announced this, Teladia, and that was because I was concerned they weren't going to make it different enough. This is very different.
You know what's different about this Wonder Woman compared to the new 52? Besides the tattoo, the obvious thing is the fact she rides on a beast, right? Instead of her flying, right?
I mean, we still don't know yet if she can't fly. It could be she just does that.
No, but in the new 52, she didn't have a beast, horse, or anything, right?
Yeah.
So this is different. But the one cool thing about this cover is the artwork is so stunning, and the fact that she is the first DC Absolute Universe superhero, not Superman, not Batman. Diana is the first.
I take it they're doing they're bringing back, they're essentially fulfilling the whole Wonder Woman is immortal thing, which I'm like, Britt and I really hate it when they make her immortal, but you know what? I'm interested enough for the story. By the way, the artist is Hayden Sherman. I'm not sure if he did. Actually, yes, he did do this cover.
Mhm.
So this is pretty much what the art is going to look like. And you know what? I like that for a Wonder Woman book.
Like, I saw the Jim Lee one. I prefer this cover with the Jim Lee one. I'm sorry, it has to be said.
I'm getting both, so it doesn't really
Wait, you're
affect
getting
me.
both?
Yeah, of course. You got to get the Jim Lee cover, and I already pre-ordered the basic one because I was like, okay, I'll pre-order this.
Okay. For me,
Jim Lee is one. Jim Lee for me is one of those covers where if I find out he has covers for a book that I would pull, because I was gonna pull this anyway because it's Wonder Woman, and I was like, okay, you know what? It's a Jim Lee cover. It's not that expensive, so I'll pick it up.
I was just like, for me, because I'm a Superman fan, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I have to. If I had to pick any of the Trinity, I'd have to pick up Superman, right?
Mhm.
Because it was just great. But then I was like, oh man, I want to really pick up the Wonder Woman one as well, and then it'll blow my budget, you see. So I'm just like torn between the two.
I'm sure you'll be able to pick it up eventually. I'm sure. But so what we have here, okay, so let's go through the basic pitch. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the part here where she goes into the pitch. So it's Wonder Woman on a Pegasus, which I gotta admit that's actually kind of cool. But the first issue, it's an ongoing book, which I'm like, yes, please.
Awesome.
And it's 48 pages, so there's gonna be 30 story pages. I wonder what the other 18 pages is gonna be. It could be like a backup story or something like that. That'd be actually really cool. And so far, so the idea of the Absolute universe, from what I remember, is Darkseid dies, and the energy created by his death is what creates the Absolute universe. That's what they mean by Darkseid energy.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
But I'm like, we kind of did that before of Darkseid dying, but all right. But by the way, Thompson is the writer of the Birds of Prey book, which it's okay. It's not my favorite, but here's the thing. Here's why I'm more willing to give Absolute Wonder Woman a chance. It gives me a nice alternative to Tom King's Wonder Woman. I'll still read Tom King's Wonder Woman because it's Wonder Woman, but it's nice because if I really like this, then it's like, okay, I can read that just so I can say I'm keeping up with Wonder Woman, but then I can read this and say I have a great Wonder Woman book.
Here's another thing to take into factor. Tom King's Superman could be the day version of Wonder Woman, and this is the night version of Wonder Woman, which is the
that's
Absolute.
actually really cool. And by you said Tom King's Superman.
Did I say Tom King Superman? Sorry, I meant to say Tom King Wonder Woman. Sorry,
had a
my
Nick
bad.
moment. It's all good. It happens to the best of us. But yeah, that's true. Plus, it's just it's technically double the amount of Wonder Woman content. And Lord knows, I love Wonder Woman. Half of one of my most successful shows is about her, so I kind of have to keep up in touch with her. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have to pick this up. There's no like question about it. Like, for me personally, I think what really stands out is the fact that she hasn't got sisters. I don't think she has a mother. I think maybe her mother, if this, I don't know, I haven't read the synopsis yet for the story, but if the origin of her story, if her mother was from the what's it called, human world, right? That's the best way to put it, right? Can you imagine the implications for the future of this Wonder Woman?
That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
Because if you think about it, maybe if the father is from underworld and the human world, just thinking, I just have that potential there.
Here is an interesting factor that actually recently, like this week, was revealed because Kelly Thompson took to Twitter and she said this Wonder Woman's birth, essentially, she said it doesn't involve a man. Now, what I'm thinking is they're giving this Wonder Woman the clay origin.
Okay.
Because the current Wonder Woman has the Zeus origin. So for those of you that don't know, the difference between those two origins, the Zeus origin, which has been in place since the new 52, essentially, and was not retconned by Rebirth, is that the idea is that Wonder Woman is the daughter of Zeus. That's what that is. Now, the clay origin is the classic origin, which is basically her mother molded her from clay as a baby, and then the gods brought life into Diana. So what I think here is that that's the origin they're going for here. And again, it makes sense that they would do this, because it's like, this is a separate continuity. You can technically have both origins in there and give both sides what they want.
I was gonna ask this, right? Yeah, obviously it's gonna give both sides what they want. I'm just thinking now, will this book last?
That is a good question. Now, here's the thing. I'm wondering, what if this sells like ridiculous? Let's be a little more optimistic this week, because here's an interesting thought I had. What if this sells what if this dramatically outsells like Tom King's Wonder Woman, and like what if the Absolute universe completely destroys the mainline universe in terms of sales? Like what if this is a resounding success? First off, if it's a resounding success and it remains a success, this is going to be the new status quo of DC. And what I mean by that is that you'll have the Absolute universe and the main universe, and you can like have different versions of the characters.
I was going to say, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
How does the all-in comic connect to the Absolute Superman, Absolute Batman, and do they cross over between the mainline universe and the Absolute universe in the all-in comic?
Scott Snyder did say there will be a crossover, or like they will encounter each other at some point, because the central pillar is Darkseid in this event, because the Darkseid energy makes this. And apparently the whole all-in thing is leading up to one story that's going to be like them battling essentially Darkseid. But now here's my question. If the Absolute universe and the main universe meet, will they fight? Will we see like a Secret Wars situation where the main Marvel universe and the Ultimate universe fought?
I can see that happening.
Pretty freaking good.
I can see that happening, because you got to remember, this is Scott Snyder we're talking about, man. This isn't. He ain't no joke. This guy's a dude that knows his stuff, right?
Exactly. By the way, here is the synopsis, the like solicitation for Absolute Wonder Woman. It says, without the island paradise, without the sisterhood that shaped her, without a mission of peace, what left is Wonder Woman? So essentially what Scott Snyder said and Joshua Williamson said in their introductory video is they said that the thing about the Absolute universe is these are the characters that we know, but they don't have any support. They don't have their support system and such. And the thing is that what they did bring up is like, they essentially want to show that these heroes can be the heroes no matter what. In other words, we're going to see these characters grow into their role as like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. In other words, they'll start to reflect the more mainline characters. That's the way you can do that.
I just think as well what I think the main I think what will worry the keyboard warriors is the fact that the Absolute universe is going to have stories that aren't going to be are going to be more interesting than the mainline. In
by the way, here is her giant ass sword. Just look at that. Good God,
that's a mighty sword.
Now, someone brought up something on Twitter.
Go on.
And this is going to transition to the second topic of discussion in this. So this is looking heavily inspired by the new 52, correct?
Yes.
Now, someone asked, what was a very important part of the new 52? Teladia, you and I covered the comics for this particular status quo.
I'm trying to remember.
It was the Superman Wonder Woman relationship.
Yes.
Now, they did say that the books will be separate in the beginning, but then will mix.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, in light of that, because you have an alternate continuity, you can keep Superman with Lois in the main continuity. What if they go, okay, you know what? Here's an actually interesting idea. Put Superman with Wonder Woman in this continuity.
And you know what? I said this in the last episode when we talked about the Absolute Superman, right? Where I said that imagine Wonder Woman and Superman being together, and the fact that Wonder Woman will bring out Clark's humanity out of him, right?
It'll bring him closer to humanity, which would be hilarious because it would be a shot in the face against those people that say like Wonder Woman separates Clark from his humanity. That would be hilarious if they did
Because
that.
if you think about it, right, she isn't a daughter of Themyscira. She's the first hero of the world of the Absolute Universe. So obviously she would know what happened in the in man's world. That's the best way to put it. So, and I think she would bring Clark a little bit closer to Earth, and feel more earthly. Like make him feel like, you know what, this is my home now. And I feel so close. I have someone that has similar powers to me. You know,
She doesn't feel as alone, and that
yeah,
that was what they did in the new 52, like in Justice League 12 when we covered it. It was the idea that Superman and Wonder Woman were like, no one understands what we go through as the most powerful members of the Justice League. No one understands like the feeling of isolation that brings. Everyone thinks it's all puppies and rainbows, and then they basically told each other, but you understand.
I think as well. What's going to be interesting in the months to come ahead is the fact of how many villains are going to come to to attack the Trinity, so to say, right? And I think definitely Cersei will be up there for Wonder Woman, 110%. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think she'll be like a human magician, so to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she'll be one of those characters that will be like, oh, I don't like Diana's, she's from the underworld, or was from the underworld,
Oops.
so to say, right?
Yeah. I
And
mean, the other thing that's interesting is that it's Diana's background, because apparently in this universe she's an archaeologist. So they kind of took that component from Cheetah and put it on Diana. Now, what's interesting, what I think the plot, my theory based on that is, so Diana escaped from the underworld, obviously, and she's
yeah,
hiding out in the man's world. What if she's trying to find the Amazons? What if, to bring in like the deceptive part of her origin, which they always have, what if it wasn't really they weren't all like wiped out and they're in hiding, and Diana's looking for Amazonian artifacts to point the way to where the Amazons went?
I I think that'd be really interesting as an idea, right? That'd be very interesting to do. But I don't think they'll do it straight away. For her to go and seek out the Amazons, though, right? I think probably halfway through the book, or halfway through the run or whatever, they'll start going down that route. If you know what I mean, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because at the beginning you've got to know the character, you've got to establish her, obviously get her background and everything, and then start slowly going into, okay, where's the Amazons, and or for example, where's the how to form the Justice League. I
Mm-hmm.
think she will form the Justice League, not Batman, not Superman. I think she will be the one who will be forming the Justice League first.
That would be interesting. I could definitely see that. And and you could also kind of say that like maybe throughout the book we see her slowly abandoning her ways as a witch, and maybe like going more, in other words, becoming the traditional Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Because from what I hear, from what that if because that video by Scott Snyder and Williamson kind of pointed in the direction that these characters start off as like really weird and edgy versions of the characters, but then eventually they get to the core of the characters. In other words, what they're really trying to show with this is that at the core of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and all these different characters, they are all the same characters. You can strip whatever you want from them. They are the same characters, which is nice, because it would be like if you strip away Clark's like connection to humanity, which would be lame, and the Kents and stuff, he's still Superman.
I was gonna also suggest this. Um, yeah, I know, like getting rid of the Kens and everything. I think that's a good idea. But you know what it just reminded me of?
Hmm.
Uh, well, for Superman, definitely it reminds me of Red Sun. Definitely because she didn't go to the Kent's farm. He was raised in Russia. But I think for Wonder Woman, this is a whole new ball game for her.
Mhm.
And I think as her character, she's 80 years, 85 years old, was it?
I think she's way older than that.
No, 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 no. I mean,
I mean, as the publicized character, yeah, about it. Let's go with 85 years.
okay, so she's about 85 years, right? So can you imagine the amount of stories they could do in the future, right? Besides the obvious ones, right? Can you imagine what they could do with, stuff to do with the underworld and stuff to do with Hades I just had the thought, what if this, like, you remember that one, not Wonder Woman Bloodbath, but the first Wonder Woman animated movie that they did?
Oh, the 2009 one that I hate.
Yeah, but with Hades actually getting killed by this Wonder Woman.
She chops his head off with the big ass sword.
Yeah,
Wait, what if that's actually Hades' sword and she's already killed him?
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Now, here's another thing that I just realized.
Go on.
There's one more universe that this is eerily similar to, and it's by another creative named Snyder. Because here's the thing. Going back to what we talked about with Superman, this is Superman that's like helping people from the shadows because he doesn't think humanity will accept him. That sounds very much like Man of Steel. And this is like an immortal Wonder Woman trying to find the Amazons. That sounds very much like the SnyderVerse Wonder Woman. Now, obviously, there are some differences, like Godot's Wonder Woman was not a witch, but I'm saying there are some story beats there that these writers took from the SnyderVerse, which I'm happy for. To the point where I love where someone or like a title of an article talk with the Absolute Universe was this DC restores the SnyderVerse.
I saw that on Twitter. I'm just like, you're kind of technically right.
Technically, you're right, because it's by a Snyder. It's not Zack Snyder, it's Scott Snyder, but still. But isn't it kind of funny how anyone named Snyder apparently makes hardcore versions of the DC universe?
And makes it better, 10 times better.
We don't know if this is better yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, because this could be worse.
No, I mean better as in the designs.
I will say, what already gives this Superman at least a edge is that no trunks.
No trunks.
And
the
look
collar.
at that glow. Look at the glow. I love that glow so much.
The collar, dude. It's got the collar.
And Wonder Woman with tattoos will never not be cool. I'm sorry. That is just so cool.
I just had the thought, what if this skin is going to be in this Wonder Woman game?
Yes, I so want that. If it's in there, the 3 skins that I am going to main in the Wonder Woman game will be this, New 52, and Gal Gadot. That's it. Those are my only 3 skins I want. I'll try out some more ones as I go, but if these 3 skins show up, see, this is what you use a battle pass for. I mean, this is what live service is good for, because then you can buy skins. Not XP boosts, not actual content. Just let us buy just skins. That's it. That's how you monetize the game. Because you can't tell me people buying Wonder Woman. You can't tell me people will not buy skins. They do it in Fortnite.
Yeah, they do it in Fortnite. And
you know these skins will be characters in Fortnite.
You know what? I definitely see the Wonder Woman one 110% being in the Fortnite game just because of the sword. Just because of the sword alone, right?
That's her like that's essentially her pickaxe, yeah.
Yeah. I think DC right now, if this is an app, if they get the first issue out there and it's 10 out of 10s, they're on a dime, they're on a golden goose right there, right? That's the best way to put it, right?
Yeah, and the question is can it last? But assuming it does, yeah, they're in there. Because here's the thing. DC, like we're saying, has a golden opportunity to do this, because what they're giving people is fresh jumping on points for all of these characters, even in their main line. they're starting new arcs and all that stuff, and just essentially restart and essentially giving people fresh jumping on points you can get in the comic book stores. And they're like giving you stuff like Justice League ID cards and stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I'll give you that. I kind of want a Justice League identification card because that'd be really cool. But I mean, at least DC seems to be making an effort. Now, whether or not they stay all in is another factor entirely, because we all know DC tends to not stay all in.
I think they'll stay all in on this one. I think they'll learn from their mistake where when it comes down to the Absolute Universe compared to the New 52, because they're not pushing new what's it called 52 books here. They're pushing at least 6 different books, right? Which is 5 or 6 different books, right? You got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, then you got Flash and Green Lantern, right? That is it. They're not having like Supergirl or the Birds of Prey or
that is true. In other words, having a small number of launch titles, what that allows for, by the way, here's some more images. What that allows for is that more people can jump on board. So here was the designs they brought up at San Diego Comic-Con. Apparently, she gets a dope ass helmet later, and that's the skin I want right there.
I like the one to the right. That's that. I'm just being nitpicky. But
you mean the one that doesn't have a helmet and stuff? Yeah, and that's fine. I'm sure she'll mostly be like this, but I also kind of like the helmet. That's kind of cool. Yeah, and then here we go. The giant ass broadsword. They'll probably have her anime run, but yeah, Absolute Wonder Woman looks gorgeous. And again, I'm very interested to see if they can execute with this, because at the very least, at least the first books for the Absolute Universe are the Trinity, or Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
I just had a thought, right? What if Lord Sidious comes to the Absolute Universe and say, execute Order 66 and destroys the mainline universe?
That is a good question, because what'll happen if this is ridiculously high selling? It would have to, in order for them to even consider that, it would have to sell and reliably sell a ridiculous amount of comics in order for them to even consider doing that.
And I think, what's also interesting is that these characters are going to be in their 20s, not in their 30s or 40s.
Yeah, significantly younger. Going back to that New 52 idea where they're let's make all the characters really young. And I'm like, that works. That's cool.
And there won't be any flipping John Kent.
That is true. We won't have arguably the most useless DC character. So there you go, which I'm going to be really
rooting for. I'm rooting for not to have any relation to that.
Britt and I just brought up an interesting point. So what if, here's my ideal scenario. Are you ready?
Go on. I want to hear it.
When DC decides, let's put Superman and Wonder Woman together in the Absolute Universe, and they approach Charles Soule to write the book.
Yes.
So those who don't know, Charles Soule is the one that wrote the good issues of Superman, Wonder Woman from the New 52. And then I told Britt that, and I'm like, what if they did that? And then Britt goes, I will never say, if they do that, I will never say anything bad about DC ever again.
If they bring him back.
If they do that and he's very ensconced in Star Wars, but if they tell him, dude, just write this book. If that were to happen, that's a dream, but if somehow that did happen, that would be the greatest thing. That would be the book that I pick up every variant cover of. I'm like, no, I will support the crap out of this book.
I would even, for me, obviously because of my money situation, it's I'll pick up the first issue of Superman variant cover because it's Jim Lee, right? Why not? And then afterwards, I'll pick up the trade paperback of the volumes of Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman. I think that makes sense, right? Instead of me just going issue by issue, spending £5, £10, whatever it is, $5, right? So I think if I was you guys, if you guys are struggling to get these comics you want to support the comic, right? But you want to actually say, look, I want to check it out. Get the first issue, pay $5 or whatever, and then wait until they have the volume out. That's what I would recommend you guys doing, because
Yeah,
that's
because at least then you have a complete story and you can tell, do I like this full story where it's going? Me, I'm going to do all the issues, all the individual issues. And I like put it this way, if they do Superman Wonder Woman written by Charles Sewell, I'll get the issues and then I'll buy the trade and then I'll buy the omnibus. I'm going full in if they do that.
Yeah. Jared's going to be his wallet's going to be hurting him so much.
Well, I may have to cut down on the books that I pick up per month, but if that happens, that will be like the biggest that will be the moment where I'm like, okay, DC is starting to make up for what they did to the new 52.
I also was going to say this, Jared. Imagine, right? Because we're going to be covering this on my channel, by the way, the Absolute Universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can do like a theory video, a theory stream of the next issue. Oh, what's going to happen in the next? That'd be fun to have like a discussion, right? I think though the first issue I think it'll sell gangbusters just purely because of Jim Lee's artwork, right?
Well, the cover will. I think it'll sell like but at least the first issues, because it's a new thing, a new comic, new ideas for the comics always sell very well.
Right. How much did the first issue of the New 52 do?
Which book?
Wonder Woman and Superman.
Let me look that up real quick, because I believe I'm trying to find the actual sales, and then Brit can probably is a better resource for that. But I will say the first issue, Superman Wonder Woman, sold 100,000 issues. I mean, 100,000 copies.
Yeah, for Superman and Wonder Woman.
Opportunity is there.
The opportunity is there for Superman and Wonder Woman, but I mean as separate.
Oh, here we go. Because... So we have here. So which one do you want first?
Superman first.
Okay, so Superman from the new. By the way, as we have said before, New 52 still outsold Rebirth. So Superman #1 sold 118,000.
Wow.
Issue 9 sold 62,000. Still great for Superman. Wonder Woman, 76,000 issues.
How many?
76,000 for issue #1.
Wow.
And then for issue #9, because it's like 1919, it is 48,000. Which, okay, I get that's a drop. But when it starts like that, that is like, by Action Comics was 182,000. So that's all even better than the main Superman book. By the way, that was the Grant Morrison run they're referring to.
Which I have. I only picked up the Grant Morrison's volumes 1, 2, and 3 because he didn't do issue for volume 4, 5, and 6.
If my action figures won't fall, I can get this.
Yeah, I've got the first 3 volumes, so...
Yep, they should be all in here. But yeah, so there you go, right there. This was a high-selling book. And you know what? It's very awesome. By the way, Teladia, after we do Justice League, it might be a good idea to start covering the Grant Morrison run.
I was thinking about doing that, actually start covering the Grant Morrison run, and obviously doing 2 shows. So we do Grant Morrison, and we'll discuss this off stream, off video recording.
It's a good idea. But the point is, if they play their cards right, because it looks like with the Absolute Universe, what they're doing is they're taking what worked from the new 52 and adapting that, which that is a stupendous idea, because then you're taking what worked and abandoning what didn't work. Because here's the thing with this. You don't have to worry about rebooting everything, because guess what? It's an alternate reality.
And then people can say, oh, the new 52, this is the alternate version of the new 52.
It kind of is. I wouldn't be surprised if they retcon it later that this is the resurrected new 52 continuity, which I'd be fine with that.
You know, if they did that, we'll be cheering up and jumping up and jumping up and down for joy, right? And I was like telling William at the Sci-Fi Center, like I was like, dude, if the Absolute Universe does really well, I think the mainline continuity will be in trouble.
But so do you know how well Justice League sold? Issue 1, 217,000. Issue 2, issue 7, 131,000. Well, it's Jeff Johns, and
It's Jeff
at that
Johns,
point, Jim Lee was drawing the book. So can you really blame it?
No, but it
That was
still
still
made
it was still in the volumes when Jim Lee was drawing the book.
And here's the thing. At least it made more money than Rebirth.
Oh yeah, dramatically more than Rebirth. So really, in fact, Rebirth had a bigger drop in terms of issues, because for Rebirth, Justice League 1 sold 209,000, and Justice League 1, and then Justice League 7 sold 85,000. That's a 59% drop. That's a 59% drop compared to the New 52, which only had a 39% drop.
That's a huge drop.
Yeah, I noticed that with Rebirth, within like 9 issues, there's a larger drop off in terms of copies sold. Probably because the books weren't that good.
But I think when it comes down to the Absolute Universe, especially when it comes down to Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, I think what would be the main focal point is the first issue. If that story does really well, then obviously they're on a winner, right?
I would say, let's see how the first, like, let's say 10 or 12 issues does, because if they do, even if it starts moderately okay, but then continues to trend upward, then I say we're good. Then I say we're golden. Because if it still shows it's going up, they're going to keep it around because people are still buying the issues.
I was going to say, Jared, is that you've got DC Universe Online, right? Oh, it's not DC Universe Online. DC Universe, the
Infinite.
Yeah.
It will definitely be on there.
It'll definitely be on there. Okay. I just had to double check. Because we don't have that here in the UK.
For sure, they're going to put that on there.
Okay. I had to be double check. But I just think what's going to be really cool about this Wonder Woman, though, because we talk about the potential for this. I think the potential for Wonder Woman is going to be double the size of what the New 52 had to offer, right? I think it's because it's different. It's not the same thing from the New 52, and the fact that
I don't think it'll piss people off.
No, it won't piss people off. No, and people will be like, oh, this is different. This is unique. This is something I've never expected Wonder Woman to do.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Because again, if they don't like this Wonder Woman, they have the Tom King run. If they like it, hey, great. There you go. And actually, Teladia, to conclude, this is a fantastic thing here. What did William say when he came on the channel? He talked about giving the audience options.
Yeah.
So if you don't like Absolute Universe, you have the main line. If you don't like the main line and think it's too like continuity heavy, go to the Absolute Universe.
And it's not competing with each other. It's not competing. It's actually giving an alternate. So
no, if anything, they're growing together because the two universes are part of the same story.
Exactly. And
so, yeah, go ahead.
I just think when it comes down to this universe, I think what's going to stand out the most is the fact that it's edginess, it's darker, it's more grittier. I think this Wonder Woman is more darker than the New 52, I would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the God of War style actually suits her. I'm afraid to say it does suit her.
If they go with the God of War like character, that would be very interesting. That would be really cool.
I mean, with the tattoos and the
she definitely looks more hardcore. She's essentially Wonder Woman Kratos when you think about it.
You know what? I just had a thought of a game you should do next, Jared. I'll tell you.
I don't have a PlayStation. So I can't play God of War. I don't have a gaming PC yet. Because otherwise, yes, I would do that.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, so
Damn it.
we'll talk about that later. But I think that's a good place to leave it. All in all, Absolute Wonder Woman looks great. I'm really excited for it. And I think there's a lot of potential here. The Absolute Universe, in my mind, when I think about it, has the potential to repair a lot of the damage that just haphazardly getting rid of the New 52 did to DC. This could be, if it's done properly. Now, granted, a lot if it's successful and it does well, this could end up redeeming DC.
Yes, 110%.
Yeah. So, Teladia, where can we find you and what we got coming out on your channel? Bear in mind, this comes out Friday.
Okay, so thank you for having me on.
Anytime,
First and foremost. Well, you guys can check me out on YouTube at Teladia Plays. You want to check me out on Twitter, it's at Teladia Plays _. What I've got coming up on my channel is that this Sunday will be the live reactions to Batman Caped Crusader episode 5 with myself and Jared, as we're going to be reacting to it. Can't wait. It's the Harley Quinn episode. And then next week is Snyder Fans Read Comics as we continue on our journey through the New 52 Justice League run from Jeff Johns and It's Forever Evil Part 2. So I can't wait to discuss that. And we're going to have Bianca on as well from Myself and Comics. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. So we're going to be very, very busy the next couple of days, but we'll see you guys later. Stay heroic. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. Zoe is a Max Abat for life. I'll see you later.